Hi guys, this is the little Willow, and we're going to do a beading tutorial today on how to make these pretty little flowers. And the first thing you're going to need is your size D thread and your colors of choice. I'm going to do 3 colors, a dark one, a medium color, and a very light blue. And then we're also going to have a dark green and some kind of light green. We haven't decided yet. Put those aside. You're going to need a pair of scissors and possibly a pair of pliers. Doesn't have to be this kind. You're also going to need 2 types of needles. You're going to need your regular sewing needle for sewing the beads on with, a size 12. Okay, and then you're also going to need your Glover needle. This is a needle that is very sharp. It has a tri-point on it, and it's for sewing through leather or very thick items. And this is the way it looks. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a knife on it. Now, you should always have a pin cushion. I got this lovely pin cushion from a girl selling at a market. Isn't that pretty? And never ever put your tri-point needle in your thread. It will cut your thread, just so you understand that, okay? We did say size D, okay, so. Another thing that you will need is some felt board, felt board. And you will need some type of covering. You can do a fill if you want, but I use a pleather. You'll need a piece of paper to draw your design on it. And you can either bead your centerpiece, or you can do what I'm gonna do and use a faux pearl. Now I do have a tutorial on how to make faux freshwater or ocean pearls into beads on one of my in one of my videos. So this is made out of a polymer clay, and there is a video on that. And I haven't figured out how to link my videos together yet, so I don't have that many videos, so it's a good thing to look into. And then you're also going to need, let's see, am I missing anything? Oh, you're going to need some glue, and I use fabric tack. It's also made in the USA, and it's an adhesive. It dries clear, and it does have a rubbery type whatever until it's completely dry, and it's waterproof, so it bonds fabrics, lace, glass, leather, wood, trims, and it is a dries clear, acid free. It adheres, and it's a waterproof type of, it's very good. I did get a piece as big as this, completely soaked, and it was squishy when it was soaked, and I thought I ruined it, so I put it out in some sun and let it dry naturally, and it went right back to normal. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I've got my beads out here. We are going to go ahead, and you're going to thread your needle, and you're going to take arm's length amount of thread like that, and you're going to double your thread and put it on at the end of your thread. Now one needle is going to be used for tacking down, and one needle is going to be used for putting on. So putting the beads on with. So I don't know why this is here. Okay, so we're gonna thread one of these needles, and I'm just gonna do arm's length. Put it aside. I'm sorry if I don't have the greatest lighting, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I don't have the nicest camera equipment, so hopefully you'll be able to see. Okay, and we're just gonna double the threads and tie them together. And I'm just gonna double loop that. Oops. There we go. And I'm just going to trim any excess. We don't need a tons on there. Okay, so now you have one needle for tacking it down and one needle for putting it on. And we're going to start with this putting it on needle, and we're going to pull, you know, because you'll need to draw your design. By the way, you'll need to draw out your design, and I suggest using a marker that is about the same thickness as your beads. If you use it thinner like this, you should keep that in mind, that it's thinner. And then go on the inside of the line if it is thinner. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go on the inside of the line because this line is a lot thicker than the bead, or thinner than the bead. So, and we want it to fit the correct way. So some of my beads get mixed up, sorry about that. And we will try not to get the other beads. So right now I'm going to just go ahead and put a bunch of beads on, and I'm going to go ahead and count my beads out. 5, 10, 15, and 20. Let's see if that'll work. So let's see if the circumference of each petal, what it's going to be. So that looks good. About this 20 is good. We'll do 20. You could do less if you want. Okay. And we're going to play with that a little bit, get it to where you want it. And now we have the first petal, and then we're going to take this thread and we're going to put it aside, and we're going to wrap it around our finger to keep it out of the way and to the side. Now with this needle we are going to tack down. Now it's up to you. You can tack down every 2 or 3. I would not go beyond 3 because it will be too loose. So I'm going to go ahead and do every 3 because it'll be faster. But you are welcome to do every 2. And a lot of people actually prefer that. So we're just doing this. It's a simple hair piece, and we're just going to make sure the thread goes between every three beads. And you want to kind of maneuver your beads and just be careful not to poke yourself. So you're going to look for the needle. You're just going to slightly poke it up to look for it. And you want to get it to where you want it to be, and then pull it through. And this is something you will have to have a little time for and patience for. So if you're watching this video, you might be here for a while. You can always stop it and save it and go back to it. And every half hour I would get up and at least stretch. Okay, so every 3 beads is what we're going to be tacking down. Yeah, so beads come in a variety of different shapes, colors, finishes. This is a more matte-like finish. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the next. And we're going to use our tack down needle to now put the beads on with. And the reason we're switching needles is so if your piece gets some kind of cut in it, or the whole thing won't unravel. if you just use the one needle to tack down with and the other needle to just put the beads on with, one needle for each, then what happens if the piece gets a cut, the whole thing unravels. So to keep that from happening, you switch your needles out every petal. So this needle we did use to tack down the piece, but now we're going to put the beads on with it. So it'll be easier to repair any of the petals if they get, if one gets cut. So 5, 10, 15, and 20, and we're just doing 20 for each petal around the circumference of each petal. Okay, now we're going to take this needle that we put the needles on, or the beads on with, and we're going to put it to the side and wrap your finger around to keep it out of the way. And you're going to go again. Every 3 beads you're going to tack down, or every 2. It's your choice. And you're just basically following your pattern. It's there for a reference. You don't have to make it, you know, set in stone or anything. You can change it if you want, but it's there for, you know, so you can see what you're doing and where you're going to be wanting to put things. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and when I'm done, I'll be right back. Okay, back, and we are on the last petal. And when we're done with this last petal, now we count the petals on this type of flower, but some flowers you will not have to count the pet or the beads with. So if we had a flower like, oh, where is it? So if we have a flower like this has more flow to it. Not every petal is going to be exact. I don't even know what happened to it. Oh, here it is. Here's another example of not counting the beads on this. But if you're doing something like a medallion, or you just want a very uniformed flower, then you're going to want to count your beads. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and finish this up. Now, I realized that I had a video, and I think the lady was floored when it was too short. I think she wanted to see a little bit more, and I had a video on how to do the Northern Lights, and that's all it was doing, is just the Northern Lights. I wasn't actually doing a project or anything. I was just doing the Northern Lights so people could see how I actually do my type of my version of Northern Lights. But this is going to be a lot longer video, so hopefully I won't bore you to death, but here we are. We're doing a longer video, and alrighty, so we're here, done here, and there we go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I only need 1 needle for this next process, because I'm just going to be putting the little dots in between the little petals like that to give it some more creative oomph there. And so I've got a darker color so you can see it better. I'm going to use a metallic I don't know, iridescent blue. I think that's what these are. Yes, so I have been beading for about 40 years. And so when I have a video that's called my lace trim, yes, that's the lace trim that I have always used. I came up with a long time ago. If somebody has the same kind of thing, then maybe it is that great minds think alike. I don't know. I'm not going to get picky about if somebody is doing the same kind of thing as me. I don't care. I guess I'm too old to care. But yeah, so that's how I do this is how I do all of my pieces. And so you're just looking at how I do what I do. And so this video is like a tutorial, but it's also kind of an entertaining tutorial. All right, so this is done, and we're going to go to the next color. I'm going to go ahead and put that away because I don't know where my other little thingies are, and we will go to the next color. And I will do the inside now. Oh, come on. Oh, I don't know. It's not doing what I want. Okay, so yeah, you're going to need some kind of little rubber container. These are perfect. I don't know, Lay's chips container, lids, Pringles, Lay's, whatever they have. Easy to work with. Okay, so we're gonna put this here, and we're gonna start here. Now we're going to go ahead and put our needle on the right side of your little iridescent bead that you put in the middle. And I'm just going to go ahead and see how many I'm going to need for that inner petal. So I'm just putting a bunch of beads on, and we're just going to kind of rotate it around to see what's going to fit in there. Now sometimes less is more, because you have to remember that you're going to be putting a string between each of these beads, and you don't want it to buckle. So that looks about right. How many beads is that? 5, 10. Do we want 10 or 11? And sometimes you end up with beads that are different sizes too, so you have to be careful. Let's see if we have a thinner bead here. Some of these beads are a tiny bit off. They're not all exacting, so we're just gonna do a roundabout number. So that's what we're gonna pretty much do. Okay, so that's about 11 beads. So we're gonna put 11 beads. We're gonna see if we can get 11 beads in each petal for the first perimeter of the first inside perimeter. So not sure what to call it. Okay, and then we're just going to tack down every 2 to 3 beads, just like we did before. Now, depending on the pattern, some patterns you will work inside out, and I guess it depends on what kind of flower you're working on or what kind of pattern you're doing. Yeah, if you're doing a medallion, medallions are very mathematical, and they are very precise. So you would want to make sure that your beads are all correct in size and shape and everything like that. Okay, so we got the perimeter, the inside perimeter done, and we're going to see how many beads we need for the very inner part. And I'm going to see if we can get away with just 2. Let's see, how does that fit? Yep, just 2 beads. So we're just going to put 2 in there. Oops. And there's 1 petal. So we're going to do the other one, but this time we're going to use this string because we want to change it out every so often, so in case, like I said before, it gets a cut or something happens to it, it will. Let's see, we're gonna go for 11 beads like we did before. 5, 10, 11. And we want to fit that on the inside of that piece. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to tack those down. We're going to put that put-on needle and we're going to put it aside and wrap part of it around our finger and keep it out of the way so we don't get everything tangled up. And then we're going to find that area that we want to tack down. And I'm tacking down every 3 beads still, but you can tack down every 2. It doesn't have to be every 3. I wouldn't, like I said, do any like every 4 or anything. That would be considered more of a lazy stitch, and it's not a good thing to do as far as when you're doing flowers and things like that. Okay. And there we go, and I bet we could just get away with just doing 2 beads in the middle of that. Okay, and we did. And we're going to just keep doing that all the way around, and I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to be on our last petal now. And this one petal from the last did only have 10 beads on it. And I'm thinking it's because some of these beads were a little bigger and were not as small as the other beads. So it does happen where you do have to adjust. You're just basically doing a round of either 10, 11, 9, 10, or 11. So basically it's not perfect. Nothing is completely perfect. There we go. 11 will work out. So all of these except for one petal, because the beads were might have been a little bit thicker. But these beads are pretty uniformed. They're not as not too many are too unusual. Okay, and after I'm done here, the next step is to put your leaf on. And all I have to do is put these 2 beads in. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go to the next step, which is the leaf. And we'll put these away. And I'm just going to use one tray because I'm doing multiples right now, and so I'm sorry guys. You only really need like a couple beads, and you can do whatever greens you want. I'm going to just do 2 dark greens, and that's it. And that's all I'm really going to do. Okay, and let's see, what color green do I want to put in there? Well, I'm not sure what happened to the one. But we have these 2. This one looks okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we can do either this color green or this color green. And I think we'll use that one. Okay, and we're just going to need a tiny bit, just like that. And oh, you will, I forgot to tell you, you'll need a thimble, and my thimble looks hideous because you're going to do wear and tear on your fingers, and so You should probably find something to protect your finger with. Okay, so we're gonna do the one dark bead right there where the little stem comes out. And this is going to be a very simple one. And we don't need 2 strings for this one, by the way. We'll just take one of these strings off, because this is going to be a very beginner friendly leaf that we're going to do. So you can see. Now if you had a more shaped leaf, like some of these are shaped, like here's a leaf, or some of your leaves are going to be shaped. Like these has some shaped leaves. These have a little bit more shape to them. You'll want to continue with the 2 needle applique. But these ones are going to just be very simple. And so we just now put that dark bead there, and we're going to go up on the side of the dark bead, and we're going to put 3 light green beads. Okay, and then you're going to go onto the other side of that dark green bead, put your needle through, and it should create like a little mini triangle like that. Okay, so now you're going to pull your needle back up through your piece, right where the top of that light green bead is, and you're going to put your needle through the top of that light green bead, and you're going to pull up, and you can see how it makes a little point. And you're going to put your needle back down and tack that down. And now we're going to do that again. We're going to put our needle up. We're going to put it right next to the first row of the light green bead on the right side, and then you're going to put 5 beads on now. So you're basically doing 3, 5, 7, and so we're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go ahead and put our needle down on the opposite end where the other light green bead is. Okay? And it should create a little bit of a triangle. And so we're going to pull this middle bead upward. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our needle through our piece where that bead is located, and we're going to put our needle through that bead, and we're going to pull upward, and then we're going to tack that down. We're going to go back down, and you can see how it made a bit of a point. Okay, I think that's good for me. I don't think we need any more beads than that. And now we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to tie that off and put a new knot on my thread and do the other side. We're going to go up, put the dark green bead on, go down. Okay, and then we're going to go on the side of that dark green bead. We're going to put 3 light green beads on again. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go on the opposite side of the dark green bead, put it down, put the needle through, and find that middle light green bead. Put your needle through that light green bead in the middle, pull up so it creates a little triangle, go back down through your fabric with your needle, and then you're going to do it again, but you're going to go on the side of the first row of the light green, pull your needle up, put 5 on this time. 1, 2, 3, oops. Okay. Go on the opposite end, put your needle all the way through. And now you're going to be looking for the middle of that, where the middle part of that light green bead is, which is right there. That is the middle. and you're going to put your needle through that middle point, and you're going to kind of pull it upward, put it back down through your piece, and there's your leaves. Those are the easiest leaves I can show you to do. Okay, so now we're done with that part, and we're going to go on to the next part. And the next part is, let's put these away. Is trimming this. Okay, we're going to take the paper off of this piece. We don't need the paper anymore, so we're going to carefully pull the paper away from your design that you, or your beadwork, and we're just pulling that away, gently pulling it away. Okay, and we're going to get rid of that. Now this is where I like to have a pair of pliers or even this bigger needle to look for little scraps in there that I can pull out. So if you didn't get the whole thing, but you want to be careful because this is leather and it will cut and it will tear. So you're going to have to be careful when doing this. So you're sometimes you can use a pair of pliers to get in there and pull it out like that. And you're just basically looking for little areas that you may have missed. Okay. And that looks pretty good. And we'll put that away now. And now we're going to just go ahead and look at this for a minute because we want to make sure that we trim this so it looks correct. I'm going to make sure it's all the same size. Now if you have a piece of cardstock, I usually like to do some cardstock ahead of time, and I will use this. This is one thing I did forget to tell you too, is that you'll need a piece of cardstock, and this helps with the backing, and it's just an old file folder, and basically it's going to be going on to the back like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim it around there. There we are. We just want to trim that to where it looks nice. Now be careful when you're trimming, because if you trim too much, you're going to end up with just a little pen or something. Okay, so there we go. It looks pretty good. This area is a little bit fat still. Okay, and so when you do have a more computer, and I do have some computer designs that I printed out a while ago, and they're in my stuff. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, if you can find a file folder or even a cereal box or some type of very thin cardboard box that you even have in your kitchen. So some type of cardstock, and we're going to be gluing that cardstock on the back of your piece. Okay, and so you're just going to go ahead and put a generous amount of glue. Spread it out. Now if you have an allergic reaction to glue, I would wear gloves or something. Some people do. Now you can put your cardstock on the back of that. Press it down really well. And now you will need, which I didn't tell you about because I had forgotten, I'm sorry. You'll need a piece of leather or something for a backing. And you can see I already have these pre-drawn. So, but they're not perfect either, so. And this is leather, okay? You don't have to use leather. There's all kinds of products out there. You can use the mushroom leather. That's another good one. Anything that's going to be like a fleece or a felted stuff, because it grabs the hair much better. Okay, you'll also need a clip. And I forgot to tell you, you need either a spring clip or a slip clip or some type of a clip. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and cut that out, because that's what we're putting on the back of this hair piece. Okay, we'll put that aside. Now, in order to get this clip to where it's hidden and it doesn't look crazy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure. I'm just pulling this spring clip out, and this is a spring clip. You can get these at the store. They shut like this and you open like that. So you squeeze these two ends and they open up like that. And you can take the inside of this. Now some of them, if it's from France, they're welded in, so I would not want to use one of those. So make sure it's something that you can take apart, partially apart at least, to get it in. Or you could use a slip clip too. A slip clip is just one piece, and you just I will have to show you that here in a minute. So this is a slip clip, and these are longer, so they're not great for smaller pieces like this. So smaller pieces are better. If they had a smaller slip clip, I would use it, but this is what this is. This is a slip clip. It just slips out, and so these are the types of hair pieces that you can do with that. That's a medium. Okay, so, and if you're curious about those, they are on my website, the-little-willow.company.site. I have an Equid store. Okay, and now you're just going to take a pencil or a pen or whatever you have, and you're going to find where you want to put your clip. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it right there. I want to put it exactly in the middle. That way, it will go the right way. I'm just going to hold that down, and I'm going to mark on each side of that clip, right here, and then we're going to draw a line, and we're basically making a capital I. And you're going to cut these lines and these tiny lines, but you're going to cut on the inside of these tiny lines and not on the outside. You want to make sure you cut on the inside of these lines. Okay, and we're going to start that. So the best way I do it is put my scissor right where I need to go and go like that. Give it a little tiny cut. Put my scissor right there. Tiny cut. Okay, so now I have a little tiny cut in there. And this is a very thick, you know, it's leather, so leather is not easy to get through. That's why we're going to be using a leather needle. Okay, so now I'm going to cut on the inside of that line. So there's the line right there, and I'm going to be cutting on the inside of that line, and we're just making a little tiny little cut. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, and then we're going to pull it on this side and do it on this side, on the inside of that line. So it looks just like that. Okay, and we're doing it the same thing over here. And on the inside of that line. And the reason we're doing it on the inside is so when the piece goes in, this will fit on the inside of the piece. I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take my glue and I'm going to put a, okay, there we go, a little bit of glue on the inside right there. So it's just right there, just a tiny bit of glue right there, and then we're going to go ahead and put this clip through. And we're going to go ahead and put it through that hole, and we're going to put this one through this hole, and you might have to squeeze it together to get it in there because it is a very tight hole. Okay. And this is another good thing you can use your big needle for, is you're going to have this little piece right here, and you need to gonna pull that away and stuff it underneath. So you're going to want to stuff that underneath that little piece right there. And then you're going to maneuver that together. So you can see how this little piece of leather, and that's why it's an eye, has to fit on the inside of that perimeter right there. Same thing with here. Make sure it fits all the way through. Okay, and then you can put your little thing back. Now the great thing about this, and I know it's a spring clip and not everybody likes these little spring clips, but they will give you quite a bit of room if you have a thick head of hair. And I will say that if you're going to use these and you have too much hair, then I would put a rubber band in your hair and put this through the rubber band instead of all the hair, because it's supposed to be ornamental, right? It's hair jewelry. Okay, so we're gonna try to get that in there. There we go. Okay. Make sure it functions right. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and glue this onto the back of this. Spread it out. Okay. And we got a generous portion. Now you're going to face your piece upwards towards you, and you're going to face this as if you were going to put it onto the back of your hair. Now if you're left-handed, you're going to be putting it this way. if you're right-handed, then you're going to be putting it this way because you're wanting to put it on the back of the hair. So this is going to face up, and I'm going to do this as a right-handed, but sometimes I do left-handed stuff. Now if you have extra board, you can trim that away. You know, you don't want that in there. You can trim that away. You know, I forgot to talk about that. Just go ahead and trim around any excess your file folder or your board or whatever it is. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull it out, push it down. Okay, and now you can see it's on there pretty good, but we're going to trim any excess because we don't want too much leather. We want it to be about, oh, I don't know, maybe a couple millimeters or something from the piece. I don't know. I don't have a ruler on me. I'm guessing. All right, so you're just going to trim it, not too close, but not too far away, because you want to get the excess leather that we're not going to be needing next to that. Okay, so there we go. We're just trimming a little bit away. Now this is where we're going to be using the leather needle. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and thread your size 10 tri-tip leather needle, and you're going to double thread it, arm's length. I always do arm's length because it's easier, and it's long enough, but it's not going to be too short either. Okay, and we're double threading that. And you're going to tie a knot. I might have to retie that. That looks terrible. Okay, we want to make it so the knot is not going to look bad. Because this is where it may show a bit. So there's a knot. Okay? And we're going to trim it up to the point of the knot and not the knot itself. And I'm going to go ahead and start from the bottom of the piece. Now, I'm going to go through my leather part. I'm going to go through my leather back to start it. Okay? Okay, and then I'm going to wrap it around and go through my pleather piece, and we're just going to sew those two together. Okay, and you're going to space them about this, you want to count your beads, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you want to make sure that you space it to where your beads are going to fit on there correctly. And you want to make sure that you get an even number all the way around. So the sequence is going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, or even numbers, no odd numbers. If you get an odd number, you're going to have to compensate. Okay, and that's what we're going to be doing. You're going to sew this down all the way around, and you're going to make sure that you have an even number of thread or stitches. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm on my last stitch, and I will have an even number after this last stitch, but I'm going to show you how to do the last stitch. And you're basically going up through the front of your piece, and you're going to the middle section, not all the way through with your needle. And you're just going to pull that up, And there's your last stitch, and you're gonna go ahead and tie your knot. Now you have a knot here, so you're gonna go through those layers, pull your needle out the back side, and you'll take your pliers, pull it through, and hide that knot. You're gonna feel the knot going between the layers, and that'll be your hidden knot. Flip it, put a new knot on there, put it aside, and then you will go back to your regular beading needle. And so now what we have is your hair piece that is almost finished. Now you have to figure out what kind of trim you want it on it. And I have all kinds of trims. This one is my lace trim. I also have several that are rope trim. And for something this small, I usually do either a lace or a rope trim. And so here's a rope trim. Here's another rope trim. Okay. And then this is your lace trim. These are a little bit shinier. Here's another lace trim. Same color beads. And so you can decide whether you want a rope trim or a lace trim, and I think on this one we will do the regular lace trim so you can see, but I do have a tutorial about how I do my lace trim, and we will start off by doing the standard trim so you can see how it is. Oh, sorry guys. All right, let's put this away. We don't need the glue now. We're all done. And let's see. That's a little bit short. So we want to make sure we have a long enough thread on our needle. And you're going to rethread. One needle is all you need. You don't need two now. You just need one. And you're going to do arm's length just like before. Oopsies. Okay. I do wear glasses, guys. I'm sorry, but you know, and I do have bifocals, and it's, you know, when you start getting older, you will need them if you're beading, because what happens with beads? Well, the light shines onto the bead, and the light bounces off of the shiny bead back into your eye and can destroy your eye from within. So if you have glasses, try to get the tint on them. I have a tint on my glasses. I don't know if you can see the tint, but it does help, so I can stop the destruction. All right, so here we are, and that's why a lot of our elders go blind, you know. Originally beading, the men usually did the bead work. The women did not. They were trade beads and they would do the bead work. After a while, women were allowed to do bead work. So I guess it depends on the tribe as well. Anyways, we're going to get started on this. And how we're going to start is putting your needle under one of those threads, under one of those stitches. So we're just going to put our needle under one of the stitches and pull through, and you can see that now I have my thread right here, and I'm going to stick my thread through the loop on the end, and we're just going to pull it like that. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and put on 3 beads to begin with. So this is the first stitch. So the first stitch we're going to be putting on 3 beads. Okay, we're going to go through the second stitch here with the 3 beads, and you can see right there it's going to create a little triangle, and we're going to go back up through that bottom bead right there, and this is the start of your standard trim. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead, and after this we're going to just put 2 on every time. So we're going to put 2 beads on, go underneath this third stitch, pull through, and you're going to go up through the bottom of that bead next to your third stitch, pull through, and you're going to continue this sequence. Put 2 on, go through the next stitch, pull through, put your needle through the bottom of that bead that's next to the stitch, like that. And you're going to continue that. We'll do this a couple, 2 or 3 more times so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and do this all around the first round. So this is your first row. Now in my lace trim video, there is 3 rows. 1, and then 2, and then 3. And you'll see it right here. So the first row, I put the bright pink on. The second row, I put the light pink on. And the third row, I filled in with the bright pink again. All right, I will be right back, and when we get to this point where we're almost done, I will bring you back on. Okay, I'm back, guys, and we are almost done with the first round, and I will show you how to close off the first round. So we're gonna do our 2 like before, go underneath the stitch, come back up, and go through the bottom bead next to the stitch. And then we're just going to put 1 bead on. Okay, we're going to just put 1 bead on, and we're going to go down through the bottom bead on the first stitch, next to the first stitch. So I don't know if you can see that. That's the bottom bead next to the first stitch to join the row together, like that. Okay, now I'm going to go come over, and you can see my thread is right here. Oops, my thread's coming out here, but I'm going to come over here and go back up through that bead on that bottom bead, pull it back through like that, and then we're going to go through the very top bead right there to start the second row, and we're going to go to a different color. And I'm going to go ahead, whoopsies, sorry, beads everywhere. Okay, there you go. So we're going to go to this color now, the color that we used for the inside of the petals. And I'm going to put about 5 beads on. And I'm going to go through, and you should get like a little round little dome like mountain thing, and you're going to go all the way around there. Okay, so I guess I didn't show you. Basically you're skipping a bead, so you're going to skip this one. So here's your starting point, and you're going to skip over this bead and go to this one. You're basically playing leapfrog. I don't know if you know what that is, but you're leaping over 1 bead. So you can see I leaped over the 1 bead. Okay. Whoopsies. Okay. And I'm gonna leap over this bead and go to that bead. Okay, and you're just leaping over 1 bead all the way around. Okay. I'm leaping over this bead and going to this one. And I'm going to do that all the way around the whole piece, and I'll be right back when we get to the end. almost the end. All right. Okay, I'm back, and we are on our last stitch. And this is another reason that you should have an even number of stitches, is because you want to make sure they connect correctly. Okay, and we're going to put the 5 on. And we are going to go through the beginning bead that you started off with. We're going to pull our needle through there. And now you have these beads. And you're going to want to go up 4 of these beads. And you're going to leave that 1 bead on the end. And this is going to be going up so you can do your 3rd row. Okay, now you're going to switch colors. And you're going to start with your original color again, the soft blue, soft medium blue. And I'm going to go through the top 3 beads of each little mountain I made. Now, if you want your mountains to be a lot bigger, then you can go 6 beads or whatever you want to do. And so I'm going to go through the top 3 beads and pull my needle through, and you're just pulling a little. This helps to stabilize the piece, and it also helps to put a little extra something for your trim. And so that's basically all I'm doing. Make sure your thread doesn't wrap around things. And you can see how it's looking. Okay, I don't know if you can see it very well. Okay, so you're basically just putting 1 bead on, going through the top 3 of the next little mountain there, putting 1 bead on, going through all 3 of the top of this mountain. Call them little mountains. Okay, and that's what you're going to be doing all the way around till the end, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and if your stitches get a little tight, you'll just need to loosen it a little bit. Sometimes it does happen where your stitches are tight, and that's okay. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put that last bead on, and like before, through the top 3. Okay, so now you're done right there, and you're going to go back down. You're going to go down and weave your needle all the way down to the bottom area where those stitches are. Just going to weave it down. And so you're probably going to go through some beads again and see where that original knot is. You're going to weave it down right there. And what I suggest is wrapping your thread around that knot and pulling that knot underneath that thread and pulling it to the back like that. Okay? So nobody sees it. And then you're just going to put a knot in your thread, and you're going to go through the layers. You're going to go between the layers, between the pleather and the leather, and you're going to pull it out. And you're just going to pull your needle out. Pull that knot underneath between the layers. And there you go. There's your hair piece. One finished hair piece, and a lot more for me to do. Okay, so, but there you go. Sometimes your trim will get tight, and that's okay. Oh, did we miss a piece? Okay, so if you missed something, because I guess I'm getting old, then you can just go ahead and remedy that. And you just go up through the area that you need to go up. I did miss a stitch, so we're going to go ahead and go up through the 1 bottom bead. Okay, so I missed a stitch right here. I did not see that. I do wear glasses, folks. And I'm just going to go through the bottom bead there. And you can see where my tail is. And we're going to go through and we're going to weave our way back up to where we should have had that one stitch. I thought I was done. And you know, sometimes so if you do have a little accident, don't worry about it. You can fix it. It's not bad. Besides, if you didn't have enough thread anyways, you'd have to do the same thing anyway. So, and then we'll add that last bead. Okay, and we'll go through the top 3 like before, and then we weave our way down. And you're going to weave your way all the way down through the stitch. And you're going to push your needle to the other side. And you're going to go ahead, tie your knot. And like before, find the area where you can stick your needle between the layers and pull it out. Now I do have that one thread in the front showing a little bit, and I'm going to show you what to do about it. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot here. Okay, so I have this one thread and it's showing now. So we want to pull this to the back. So we're just going to have to trim up to the knot, and I'm going to go ahead and loop that. So I'm going to stick my needle from the back here, and I'm just going to loop it around that knot and go back again through these spaces. I don't know if you can see it. You're just going through those spaces and you're looping that in there to pull it to the back side. And that's all you're doing, is pulling that to the back side. This should release. It's not. Okay. If we want that knot to be pulled to the back side, there we go. My dog sounds like he's throwing a bit of a fit. Uh-oh. He's sneezing. Okay. All right, now we're done. Sorry about that. But so I showed you how to get out of a situation too. So there you go. There's your double. All right. So you know, and you can just play with your little lace fringe until it looks the way you want it to look, and that's the way it will look. Alright, now if you add more beads, it might not be as tight. I probably should have added 6 beads instead of 5, and that's fine. You don't have to, you know, do what I do. Anyways, this is the way they all look when they're done. Okay. Kind of a cornflower or periwinkle blue. And a teal and a pink and just a regular cool blue, cobalt with a softer baby blue. Okay. Well, you guys, thank you for joining me, and if the video was very long, I'm sorry, but some people like my videos a little bit longer. One lady was very floored when I did a shorter video, and she did not like that. I think she wanted to see me more. So here's positive vibes out into the universe, and hopefully we'll see you again. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you later. Have a great evening or afternoon or morning. Okay, bye-bye.